My child, draw near and quiet your spirit. I must speak to you about what is happening right now beyond the veil of the unseen. A stillness has settled over the courts of heaven. A heavy, sacred silence has fallen so deeply that even the seraphim lower their wings in solemn awe. You have felt this silence, haven't you? It has followed you into your sleep as restlessness. It has found you in crowded rooms and wrapped you in isolation. It has pressed against your chest when you tried to pray, making the heavens feel like brass above your cry. You told yourself it was just exhaustion, just stress, just another difficult season. But what you are sensing is more than human fatigue. It is the echo of something spiritual. The weight you carry is not random. It is connected to a deeper reality unfolding beyond what your eyes can see. Heaven is not angry with you. Heaven is grieving. There is a sound of sorrow moving through eternity, a deep and resonant cry in the spirit. And the truth your soul has felt, though your mind resisted it, is this. The grief is connected to you. There is a sacred hall in the highest realm, not built of stone but formed from light and divine purpose. It is known as the Gallery of Living Flames. Within it stand countless golden pillars, and upon each rests a holy fire. These are not ordinary flames. They are the spiritual beacons of those called on earth. Each one represents a destiny, a calling, a mantle of authority, and a covering of grace. When a soul walks in alignment with its design, its flame burns white-hot. It sends power toward the earth. It clears pathways, it blinds the enemy, it draws blessing, it signals to heaven that the person is alive in purpose and moving in faith. For years, your flame burned among the brightest. It burned with fierce devotion. It burned with courage that made darkness retreat. Angels passed your pillar and rejoiced, for they saw in you the spirit of a warrior, a healer, a chain breaker. Your light was not small. It was a testimony. It was a signal fire visible across the spiritual horizon. But when I walked through that gallery and came to the place marked with your name, I saw something that shook the heavens. The golden stand remains. Your place is still reserved, but the fire is gone. Where there was once a roaring blaze, there now rises only a thin strand of smoke drifting upward. The flame did not die in a storm. It did not vanish in a single moment of collapse. It dimmed slowly, quietly, almost invisibly. Drop by drop the oil ran dry. Day by day the intensity faded, until at last the final ember cooled. And now the place meant to shine with glory stands dark. Understand this. Your light was never meant for you alone. It was guidance for others. It was warmth for those freezing in despair. It was strength for those who could not see their way forward. When your flame went out, it left a gap in the tapestry of glory, a space the enemy is eager to fill. The angels are gathered around your empty pedestal, not in condemnation, not in anger, in heartbreak. They remember how you burned. They remember the prayers that once rose from you like incense, feeding the fire. They remember when your faith was bold, pure, and unshaken. They remember how your flame once pushed back darkness over your family line. And they are waiting for you to return, waiting for you to lift your eyes again, waiting for the spark of repentance, surrender, and faith that will reignite what was never meant to die. The stand is still yours. The oil can be replenished. The fire can burn again. They are weeping because they see the potential sleeping in the ashes. They see the destiny that has been paused. They see the protection that has quietly lifted. Understand this clearly. When your fire goes out in that sacred place, shadows grow longer in your life on earth. The confusion you feel is the result of lost illumination. The fear that grips you at night is the absence of the warmth of your purpose. That sense of being lost is what happens when the beacon that once guided your steps has gone dark. You have been trying to walk a spiritual path with an unlit lamp. You are stumbling over obstacles you once stepped over with confidence. You are fighting battles in your own strength because the supernatural power that once supported you has grown dormant. I am not revealing this to crush you. I am revealing it to wake you. The enemy wants you to believe your light went out because you are unworthy. He wants you to think, "I grew tired of you." He wants you to stare at the smoke and assume your story is over. He wants you to believe that once a fire dies, it can never burn again. But that is a lie. I am showing you the smoke so you will hunger for the flame again. I am showing you the darkness so you will remember the power of the light. The silence in heaven is not abandonment, it is anticipation. We are watching to see if you recognize what has happened. We are waiting to see if you will stop pretending everything is fine. We are waiting for you to admit the fire has gone out. Do you feel the truth settling deep inside you? Do you recognize the coldness that has crept into your spiritual walk? The first step to reigniting the flame is honesty. You must admit the lamp has gone dark. If your spirit knows this is true, if you feel the ache of a dimmed fire, and you are ready to understand how it happened so you can restore it, then say it within yourself, "I am listening." Let that be your first act of awakening. Let your voice break the silence. Heaven is leaning in. Now that you have faced the darkness, the question rising in you is why? How could a fire that once burned so fiercely disappear? Who stole it? Was it an attack? Was it someone around you? Was it a curse? Hear this with courage. No demon extinguished your flame, no person stole your light, no curse silenced your destiny. The hand that slowly lowered the wick was your own. I do not say this to condemn you, I say it to empower you. If an enemy had done this, you would be helpless. But because it happened through your choices, you have the authority to reverse it. This was not a single act of rebellion. You did not wake up one day and walk away from your calling. It was not an explosion. It was a slow leak. The enemy knew a frontal attack would fail, so he used something far more dangerous, drift. It began with one busy day when you skipped time in my presence. Then a week of rushed, distracted prayers. Then a month of ignoring the quiet voice that once guided you. You stopped guarding your heart. The noise of the world grew louder than the whisper of heaven. Survival became more urgent than surrender. Stress replaced stillness. Little by little, step by step, you moved away from the fire. Then one day you realized you were standing in the cold, wondering where the warmth had gone. There are 3 specific thieves that weakened your connection, and we must name them. The first thief was exhaustion. You have been carrying more than you were ever meant to carry. You tried to be the savior for everyone else. You gave until there was nothing left. You poured yourself out for your family, your work, your responsibilities, but you never paused to be refilled. You confused activity with intimacy. You believed that doing things for me meant you were close to me, but you were working like an orphan instead of resting like a child. Duty replaced devotion. Fatigue became your normal, and when your spirit shifted into survival mode, the first thing to fade was the fire. You never stopped loving me. You were simply too exhausted to pursue me. The second thief was wounds. Life has cut you deeply. Betrayals came from places you trusted. Words were spoken over you that pierced your identity. Prayers seemed to go unanswered, leaving disappointment that settled into your spirit. When you were wounded, you did what most people do. You built walls. You tried to protect your heart. You withdrew. You stopped trusting. You pulled back your emotions because it hurt too much to stay open. But you cannot block pain without also blocking light. In trying to guard yourself from people, you slowly distanced yourself from my presence. Your disappointment became the lens through which you saw me. You stepped away from the fire because you were afraid of being burned again, not realizing that my fire heals. It refines, it restores, it does not destroy. The third thief was uncertainty. This one was subtle, a single seed of doubt planted in your thoughts, and you watered it. You questioned your calling. You replayed your mistakes until they defined you. You compared your private struggles to everyone else's public victories. You convinced yourself your best days were behind you. You believed you had missed your moment. You accepted the lie that you were too broken to be used. The moment you agreed with that lie, your flame began to suffocate. You dimmed your own light because you no longer believed you deserved to shine. You removed yourself from the assignment because you felt unqualified. You silenced your voice because you doubted the authority I placed within you. Exhaustion, wounds, uncertainty. These 3 worked together to weaken your fire. They explain the heaviness. They explain the silence you have felt. You have been waiting for me to fix everything. But I have been waiting for you to acknowledge what happened. I cannot heal what you refuse to uncover. I cannot fill what is sealed by pride or fear. I cannot give rest to someone who refuses to stop running. This is the moment of diagnosis. No physician can prescribe healing until the patient admits where it hurts. We are standing in the center of your spiritual room. The lights are off. But I am not here to abandon you in darkness. I am here to help you find the switch. First, you must be honest about what broke the circuit. Was it the exhaustion of carrying everything alone? Was it the pain of a wounded heart? Or was it the lie that you are no longer worthy? Your confession is not weakness. It is the key that opens the next door. Be brave. Identify the source of your drift. Name the thief. When you name it, you strip it of power. When you confront it, you create space for restoration. Now hear this clearly. In the natural world, when a fire goes out and the owner walks away, the place grows cold. It becomes forgotten. Eventually it is overtaken by decay. But you have not been abandoned. Your stand is still there. Your name is still written. Your place has not been given to another. And what went out can burn again. You have been afraid that this is what happened to you. You walked around with a knot in your stomach, believing that because you stepped away, I stepped away. You feared that while you drifted in the shadows, your place in the gallery of living flames was given to someone stronger, more disciplined, more consistent. You wondered if your destiny had been reassigned. Close your eyes for a moment and see what has truly been happening. When your flame flickered out and you wandered into the fog of pain, your pedestal was not removed. It was not erased. A command went forth from the throne: guard the spot. The moment your light went dark, heaven did not abandon your place. Angels surrounded it. While you felt forgotten, sentinels stood shoulder to shoulder around the remains of your fire. Their wings formed a barrier. Their assignment was clear: protect the destiny, preserve the calling, defend the territory. The enemy accused you. He called you a deserter. He pointed to your silence, your mistakes, your distance, and demanded your seat be forfeited. But the guardians did not move. They held the line. They know what you forgot. A pause is not a period. Rest is not resignation. Winter is not death. It is preparation. They guarded your place because I told them you were coming back. I knew you were not running in rebellion, you were wandering in pain. I knew that once you healed, once you caught your breath, once you remembered who you are, you would search for the light again. Your seat was never reassigned. It was reserved. The silence you felt was not abandonment. It was protection. Heaven was holding space for you, preserving what belongs to you, so that when you returned, you would not have to start over. You do not need to rebuild the altar. You only need to relight the fire. And something is happening right now. As you read these words and acknowledge your drift, the atmosphere is shifting. The angels who stood guard are no longer braced for defense. They are turning inward toward your pedestal. They sense movement in your heart. It is faint, barely a whisper. But to heaven, it sounds like thunder. You are turning. You are remembering. You are lifting your eyes. The spiritual realm responds to the posture of your heart. You do not need a perfect prayer. You do not need dramatic effort. You do not need to prove yourself. You need a turn. A small, decisive shift that says, I do not want to remain in darkness. The moment you admitted your exhaustion, your wounds, your doubt, you stopped running and started returning. Because you turned, light is gathering again. It hovers above your stand like a warm glow waiting for permission to descend. This is the fire of restoration. It is not the old fire fueled by striving and self-effort. That fire burned hot but unstable. This new fire is fueled by grace. It does not depend on your strength. It flows from mine. The guardians are stepping back. The space is clear. The oil is fresh. The atmosphere is charged with possibility. Everything is ready. But one element remains. I will not force my glory upon you. I will not ignite what you are unwilling to carry. The fire waits for your consent. I will never drag you back to your purpose against your will. Restoration is a partnership. I have preserved the place. You must extend the invitation. I have guarded the seat. You must choose to sit in it. The light is hovering now, alive and ready to ignite your spirit. It longs to burn away the fog of depression. It longs to seal the wounds so they stop bleeding. It longs to warm the cold spaces in your heart. But it requires your yes. Not a yes to perfection. Not a yes to never failing again. Just a yes to relationship. A yes that says, I am open. A yes that says, Lord, light me up again. The Spirit is moving over your heart. The moment you surrender pride and whisper yes, everything shifts. And it just did. The silence that once filled the gallery of living flames has been shattered, not by noise but by ignition. The pedestal that stood cold is blazing again with white-hot glory. You are back. Look closely at this new fire. It is not the same as before. The old flame was beautiful but fragile. It burned with passion, yet it flickered in strong winds. This fire is deeper, stronger, more focused. It is the fire of resilience. It was born in the cold. It was forged in silence. It endured the dark and chose to burn anyway. The enemy believed that extinguishing your first flame would end your story. He did not realize he was making room for something greater. You are not returning as a beginner. You are returning as one who has survived. The cracks left by pain are now being filled with the gold of my presence. You are not simply restored. You are refined. And now the ripple begins. The pause over your life is lifting. In the coming days you will sense clarity replacing confusion. The fog that clouded your thoughts will thin. Decisions that once overwhelmed you will become steady and clear. Doors that closed during your season of drift were not punishment, they were protection. You were not meant to walk through them in darkness. Now your lamp is lit. Watch what begins to open. Opportunities you believed were lost will resurface. Some relationships will heal. Others will fall away peacefully to make room for people who can stand in the heat of who you are becoming. You are no longer operating in your own limited strength. You are connected again to the source of all power. The heaviness has lifted. The guilt has been consumed. The shame has been burned away by love. Heaven is not reviewing your absence. Heaven is celebrating your return. The angels are not counting your failures. They are rejoicing that you are standing again. Walk in this light. Lift your head. You passed through the valley and came out carrying a fire darkness cannot extinguish. You are dangerous to despair now because you know how to overcome it. The silence is over. The morning has ended. Your name burns brightly once again. Welcome home. This message found you to wake you and restore you. If these words have realigned your spirit, do not let the connection end here. Stay positioned. Stay listening. There is more ahead. Stand in your place. Stay in the light. Keep the fire burning. You are loved. You are chosen. And you are lit. Go in peace.